What's the craziest thing you've witnessed during a divorce custody hearing? I was a court reporter when a 7-year-old had a meltdown during his parents' custody hearing, and their reactions revealed everything the judge needed to know. The Hendersons had been fighting over custody of little Nathan for 6 months. Mom, Susan, arrived in a sharp business suit with her attorney, talking loudly about her promotion and new condo. Dad, Tom, looked tired in his work clothes, having come straight from his construction job to make the 2 p.m. hearing. Susan's case seemed strong. Higher income, stable housing, private school enrollment already arranged. Your Honor, I can provide Nathan with opportunities his father simply cannot afford: piano lessons, tutoring, summer camps. Tom's lawyer did his best, but the numbers didn't lie. Tom worked long hours for half Susan's salary and lived in a modest apartment. When asked about extracurriculars, Tom quietly said, "I help with his homework every night and we go to the park on weekends." Midway through Susan's testimony about her comprehensive parenting plan, Nathan started fidgeting in the gallery where he'd been sitting with a social worker. The 7-year-old had been silent for an hour, but suddenly stood up and said loudly, "I need to use the bathroom." The social worker started to get up, but before she could react, both parents moved. What happened next lasted maybe 10 seconds, but it changed everything. Susan snapped, "Nathan, sit down. We're in the middle of something important. You should have gone before we came in here." She didn't even turn around fully, just shot him an annoyed look over her shoulder. Tom immediately stood up, walked over to Nathan, and knelt down to his eye level. "Hey buddy, of course you can go. Let's go right now." He took Nathan's hand naturally, like he'd done it 1,000 times. "I don't want to interrupt the important meeting," Nathan whispered, clearly anxious. "You're not interrupting anything," Tom said softly. "You're the most important thing here." As they walked toward the door, Nathan suddenly stopped and burst into tears. Not bathroom urgency tears. The big, overwhelming sobs of a stressed 7-year-old who'd been holding it together too long. Susan's reaction was to look at her watch and whisper urgently to her lawyer about the delay. She kept glancing at the door like their son's breakdown was an inconvenience to her testimony. Tom just picked Nathan up and held him, not caring that his son's tears were soaking his work shirt. He didn't try to stop the crying or rush him through it. He just stood there rubbing his back, whispering, "It's okay, buddy. Take your time." When Nathan finally calmed down enough to whisper something in his dad's ear, Tom nodded and carried him back into the courtroom. "Your Honor, Nathan would like to tell you something if that's okay." The judge, a mother herself, nodded gently at Nathan. "What would you like to say, sweetheart?" Nathan, still in his dad's arms, said quietly, "I want to live with Daddy. He makes me feel safe when I'm scared." Susan immediately objected. "Your Honor, children don't always know what's best for them. He's too young to understand the advantages I can provide." The judge looked at Susan, then at Tom, who was still holding his son patiently. "Mr. Henderson, what would you like to say about your son's statement?" Tom looked down at Nathan, then back at the judge. "I'd like to say that Nathan's feelings matter more than any advantage money can buy. If he feels safe with me, then I've already given him the most important thing I can." The judge didn't need to hear any more testimony. She awarded primary custody to Tom that afternoon, with the simple explanation: the court's primary concern is the child's emotional well-being and sense of security. As we left the courthouse, I heard Nathan ask his dad, "Are we going to get ice cream?" Tom smiled and said, "How about we go to the park instead? Ice cream costs too much, but the swings are free."